Hey, a win. What is going on, Vikings fans? Happy Victory Monday. First time we've been able to say that in a long time here. Vikings stomp the Commanders. JJ McCarthy gets his first home win, 31-0 against Washington. Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota both played in this game. Jaden Daniels did exit due to injury, but hey, this is a good game. It's a step in the right direction. Now we understand the negativity we're gonna that I think some Vikings fans are gonna bring here, like, oh, it was against the Commanders. Oh, the Commanders have a dog water defense. They're 3-8. They're worse off than we are on an 8-game losing streak. They're going to tell you all this different stuff that at the end of the day it doesn't matter, right? I mean, oh, it's one game. I mean, of course you're going to play as well. Well, hey, at the end of the day, Kevin O'Connell said, I'm going to simplify things and get my quarterback playing confident, have him quit thinking. And JJ McCarthy said, I'm going to stop thinking and go out there and play football. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, we got JJ McCarthy's best game of the season where he played all 4 quarters as best as he could. We had great play calling. They stuck to the run. They put their quarterback in great spots. And the team found a way to win. And for you people out there like, oh, we ruined our draft position, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, our quarterback took steps in the right direction. Now, yes, it's one game against a bad team at home, sure. But you know what? There's going to be multiple opportunities throughout the rest of the season for him to prove that this was legit and that he can do it against bigger and better competition. But look, I get it. This isn't totally turning around the narrative that, hey, JJ McCarthy's back and he's a savior of the franchise. But at the very, very least, it's a step in the right direction, in the direction that all Vikings fans should want to go, knowing that, hey, we might just have the right guy under center. Again, one game, bad team, all that, understand it. But you got to look at the positives here and take it for what it is. And it was a great game for this Vikings team, and the ultimate get-right game that we thought this could very well be.
Yeah, and before I jump into it, I want to thank everybody for popping in after. Obviously, it's nice to get a W here. Appreciate everybody. If you are subscribed or not, you should do that right now. We'd be appreciated big time. I do have some shout outs to do because our guy Gary was in here right away. What's going on, Gary? Sup? Bleeding Purple in the building. What's going on, my guy? Let's go. Skull Mafia, my dude. What's going on? Hey, I see the JJ McCarthy icon is back. Jackson Bill. What is it? Bilkis? Jackson Bilkis. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in, my man. What else we got in here? I see everybody. I think we got it for now. Going in this game, yeah, dude, I'm with you as far as this is, I mean, it's a pretty giant leap forward for JJ McCarthy from where he was at. I mean, we can I did put KOC before JJ McCarthy, but that is, I mean, the story here is JJ McCarthy. I mean, where he was down at after that Green Bay, obviously all the memes and everything, and even the confidence in ourselves for people who are definitely Team JJ McCarthy was down for sure. And the perfect game he could have to bounce back and change that narrative, is why I say it's a big step forward, is because it was so low. Is to come out and have a game with a non-air game, 3 touchdowns, 70% completion. I mean, we've been asking for that all year. We've been asking for 65% completion percentage, but for him to leave that one with 70% is a big plus. Plus 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, all that good stuff. In my opinion, that was enough to be like, okay, like, yeah, maybe everybody did, pull the brakes on JJ McCarthy early, which obviously I'm not surprised at all. They did the same thing with Kevin O'Connell, who I do have on here. Kevin O'Connell calls a great game. You can see why Kevin O'Connell is highly respected pretty much everywhere else besides a lot of Viking fans for some reason, and every other team would love to have him as his coach, but Viking fans, they're, I don't know. They have a short leash. Sorry, not all Viking fans. Some of y'all, though. Sorry, I got to call them out because last week I was in a corner with knives sticking at me, sticking up for Kevin O'Connell, and he shows exactly why he's a good head coach. Obviously, it's one game, but still. So we'll see what happens there. So I had to bring that up there. We messed up. Got you. Got you. Oh, okay. I need to see my computer's not big enough to see your profile picture. But now that I'm kind of looking at it, I definitely recognize you. Thanks for popping in. Anyways,
man.
I'm calling out some people. Obviously, one game. JJ McCarthy still needs to show a lot. Kevin O'Connell, though, I mean, in my opinion, he's shown a lot since being here. That it's crazy to me. Everybody just wants him fired all of a sudden. But I do think he kind of bounced back himself for sure in this one.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to start with this, right? Because again, last week came out, said what he said about quote unquote simplifying things. He kind of corrected that today, saying, people kind of took that the wrong way. But either way, simplified the offense, gave, just put JJ McCarthy. And that's the biggest thing. It's not really necessarily a simplification of the offense. It's just putting your quarterback in good spots. And that's exactly look, he said it and he did it. Yes, one game. Same thing like JJ McCarthy. We saw one game of it. Yes, we need to see it happen on a more consistent basis for the rest of the season against better competition, right? I understand that. But at the end of the day, he said he was going to do something. A lot of people say, he talks and talks, but never changed anything. He can adjust. Well, guess what? He adjusted this game. And yes, you're going to need to see it. And it's the same thing that goes for JJ McCarthy. You're going to need to see it on a more consistent basis against better competition. And guess what? It's going to happen next week. Because obviously this game, when you're winning the whole way and it's really not ever a challenge from the other team, you can do whatever you want on offense because anything's open to you, especially playing against a defense that did go more zone all day long. But guess what? Next week, yes, JJ McCarthy's going against another defense that's pretty leaky in the Dallas Cowboys. They have a ton of talent up front. In the back end, though, they've been pretty weak. They've been allowing a lot of passing yards. But at the end, but also you're going to get an offense that's going to be much better at Washington than putting up points. So guess what? McCarthy, yes, there's going to be opportunities for him to push the ball downfield and make plays, but he's going to have to do it more consistently in a more high pressure spot. So this was just step one. It's just seeing that the offense can be fit around him. And if he's playing confident, and we put him in good spots, he can make all the throws, make the right decisions, and lead this team to a win. Well, now it's going to be a more high-tense situation. National television, Sunday Night Football. I'm sure, they're going to be asking about the 9 stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of noise surrounding it. But you're going up against much better competition in a game that might turn into a shootout. So now we'll see. Can you take what you learned in a game where you're not challenged whatsoever into a game where you might have to score toe for toe on the road in a hostile environment against a good Dallas Cowboys offense. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's just one small step at a time as we go through the rest of the season. And this is just against this team. Like people saying, it was just Washington. Well, Kevin O'Connell could have came out, ran the same offense. We could have looked awful. We could have scored 10 points. McCarthy could have thrown 50% completion and a couple interceptions again. He didn't. He went out against a bad team and did what you should do if you're going to be a good quarterback down the road. That is beat up on the bad defenses. And he did that. And he did it both, without Justin Jefferson even having that much of an impact. I mean, obviously we know the impact that he does have, but I don't know. It's just, you got to take it for what it's worth. Just small wins, 1 week at a time. But for what the scenario we were in against this team in this scenario, this is the best thing you could have asked for coming out of this game.
Yeah.
From a play calling perspective, coaching perspective, and JJ McCarthy himself.
Yeah, and the whole thing with it being they won 31-0. Like, you're supposed to do that. It'd be different if it was like JJ McCarthy played pretty good or whatever, and the score was like, I don't know, even 14-0 or 14-7 or something like that. Like, it's still a NFL defense that JJ McCarthy played against. All of us knew we were going against a bad defense. That was the whole thing. It was easy for all the people to see, like, let's see how JJ McCarthy plays against a bad defense. Because if he's bad against a bad defense, that says a ton too. So it's like both sides of the thing. And then he comes out and plays good against them. And then now it's because it's a bad defense. No, he played really well against a bad defense. Exactly what he should have done. And to be fair to him, and obviously, again, I want to see more. I want to continue seeing more from JJ McCarthy, and it's just from one game, even though I need to see that consistently. If he played like that, not even 3 touchdowns, but in a similar, non-mistake fashion throughout the rest of the season, I think a lot of us would feel definitely a lot better going into the offseason. But in this one, just overall, he comes in and has, I think we already mentioned it, 70% completion percentage. I don't know if we did drop his stats or not, because we're kind of putting JJ McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell in this together. But JJ McCarthy, 70% completion percentage, 169 yards, something like that, 160 yards or somewhere around there. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, plays a good game overall. And that's exactly what you want to see from him. I don't care what defense this is. And to be fair to him, that he didn't really get much I don't think people gave him the benefit of the doubt is that JJ McCarthy did play against some really, really hard, really top 10 defenses pretty much every single game prior to this one. So, JJ McCarthy hasn't had it easy so far overall, though, the lows were low. This was a good high here, and hopefully he can stay consistent. But I do want to go back to Kevin O'Connell here on top of that. And Kevin O'Connell, and I know Jackson has it right here. This might be KOC's best game as head coach. As far as like overall balance and coming in, obviously, I mean, you win this 31-0. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. We haven't done that since, well, we did that against the Raiders as far as holding a team to 0. But I think it was like 1986 to have this level of point differential, which is under Kevin O'Connell with JJ McCarthy as your quarterback and just hitting Delton right here. Sup, y'all? Run the fucking ball, huh? When you do, you get to pass against normal passing coverage. And yeah, Kevin O'Connell, best game. I'll call that best game as a head coach when it comes to running the ball and keeping things simple. And that was the big test for Kevin O'Connell so far. We'll see how it goes for him to cater this team to a young quarterback. And it really started with his comments saying, let's let JJ McCarthy just go out and play ball. We'll worry about his fundamentals and stuff in the offseason. It starts there, and then him actually following through with that, making this defense or offense more simple for him to execute, as well as running that ball and being really balanced. And hopefully that's just enough for Kevin O'Connell to be like, all right, maybe I just need to be more balanced in general. But Casey, what's your thoughts on Kevin O'Connell and everything?
Yeah, and honestly, and like what I was saying about JJ McCarthy is now he's going to be going up against a better team, like in the Cowboys, to where it might become more of a shootout situation. And then this is just another step in Kevin O'Connell's play calling as well. Like, yes, you called a good game where you could do anything you wanted to because you were in the lead most of the game. So that's the biggest thing for him. It's like going up against Dallas. If they start putting points up on your defense, Kevin O'Connell stuck. 34 rushes this year or this last game, 162 yards. Like, it's going to be interesting to see if in a game where he feels like, God, we got to score more points, if he does go back into his old ways of drop back passing, deeper developing routes, and abandoning the run game, because we've seen him do that before. If he feels that pressure of like, God, we got to keep up with these guys, I'm going to have to try to score some points quickly. So it'll be interesting to see. And that's the thing. It's like one game against a bad team where you're in control all the way through. He called a great game. Now, can he do it? Can he stick to his guns in that way in a game where you might be down a touchdown? You might fall down 10 points. Will he stick to his guns in that way instead of panicking and deciding I got to start throwing the ball over the yard, which then puts your quarterback in a bad spot, which is totally going to just take away from all the progress we had in this last game. So it really does come down to O'Connell. And it's just like we say with McCarthy, like, you got to stack week to week. With O'Connell and this new philosophy of like, hey, just putting my quarterback in better spots, running the ball more, like, it's up to him also to keep doing that week after week after week and not fall back into your old habits just because you feel more inclined to score more points quickly. So again, it'll be interesting to see, but from it's just nice to know what he said was put into action, and at least for 1 week it worked. And again, there's still 4 games left. Is there 4 games against? And you got
5 games, including
like
this
you
week.
Have on the road.
Oh no, 4 games.
Is it?
Yeah, 4 games.
You have on the road in Dallas, on the road in New York, and then 2 divisional matchups, 2 teams that are going to be playing for something coming into your stadium for the last 2 weeks of the season. So, like, again, great starting point, but for O'Connell, for this offense mainly, because defense, we'll talk about them later. Defense has been doing what they have been doing for the last month or so, and it's been amazing. Right. But offense, one nice step, good play calling, good quarterback play, good play around him. Can we stack it week after week against different types of competition? That's what remains to be seen. But hey, 1 week after, we got to go week by week here. This Commanders game, what we did was exactly what we needed to do in offense, and that's how you come away up 31-0.
Hey, shout out Vocal Vike. By the way, everybody, we will be on Vocal Vike, aka Raps channel, on Thursday. We're gonna keep it short on our channel. We'll still do our pregame and then hop over there, and y'all know it's gonna be a good one for sure. But thanks for popping in, bro. Thanks for popping in. Anyways, yeah, going back to this, man, is I forgot exactly what I wanted to say here, but Kevin O'Connell, like you said, kind of like there's a lot more tests to do, and it will be interesting to see how Kevin O'Connell approaches things as far as when games are close. Obviously, we know he does pretty good as far as like when we're behind or we're even or things like that, and when it really matters, we can get down the field. But that's one thing that was really nice about this game, and same with the Cincinnati games, because it seems like, this year we've had 2 games where we absolutely annihilated the team, or we just kept it close and barely lost, barely won, or whatever. But it's nice to see Kevin O'Connell. A couple things I really like is Kevin O'Connell putting his foot to the gas. That's one thing. If there is a couple things that I've always questioned with Kevin O'Connell, one of them is for sure put your foot to the gas. I don't care if you disrespect the coach across from you. I don't care, because I feel like he pulls off too much. I want him to go and keep going. One thing I liked about this game is even after it was obvious that we won, and maybe it was just to give JJ McCarthy more reps, but he kept going. He kept letting JJ McCarthy throw. JJ McCarthy had like 3 for 3 more completions on that last drive before we clocked it out. Ty Felton got on there and had a nice catch and run, which is actually really interesting. Something I didn't really think about with the leaving of Adam Thielen was, I guess that just automatically leaves Felton as the 4th wide receiver option. So maybe we will see a little bit more of him down the stretch here, which would be cool, because you did see some of that speed when he got that catch and run on that screen at the end there. But overall, Kevin O'Connell, just keep playing like this. It'll be interesting to see what happens when you are against a good offense like Dallas, but you do have, like you mentioned before, passing defense wise as well. Passing defense for the Giants and the Cowboys back-to-back games have not been that great. Next week, you do have to worry about the pass rush, so we'll add a little bit of an extra element against JJ McCarthy. But I do think it's going to be a nice little stretch for JJ and McCarthy to just be able to not have to worry about these really good defenses, especially when you end the season against the Packers and Detroit. So we'll be able to see a lot. We'll be able to see a lot in that. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what kind of happens moving forward there. But I mean, it's a good bounce back.
Yeah. What up, Dan, by the way? Thing too, kind of last thing to say on O'Connell here before we move on was because like obviously like you hear this stuff in like movies and like in college, I feel like it works a little bit better. But this one seemed to hit home. His whole like what would your 16-year-old or what would your high school self think about you playing in the NFL right now? And Harrison Smith kind of said like that hit home with a lot of the guys, and we realized like, hey, we're already playing football, so let's just go have fun and try to win. Like that's kind of interesting because like obviously again like that type of stuff, you feel like that's more like football drama TV show or college. You hear a lot of college stuff like that, but I don't know, to hear like a pro style coach use that and just kind of hits home with people. Like I don't know. Again, the people that just don't think O'Connell has good leadership ability or
I don't get that
doesn't know what he's doing as an offensive play caller. Like I get it at times, it's not always perfect. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I think this guy's a damn good leader. I think these players respect him. I mean, they easily could have phoned it in the rest of the season and said, well, whatever, we'll see you guys next year. But they didn't. Like they lock in, they go out and they win a game like this. Like, I don't know. I think the ability, even in a bad season, to keep guys locked in and keep things going smoothly, even through a couple bad weeks on offense, it's pretty big. And it says a lot about culture and coaching staff here. And even like a guy like Justin Jefferson, who comes out as two catches for 11 yards and smile on his face, knows what's happening. I think there's like a viral play going around, like where he didn't get the ball. McCarthy went through his read, made the correct throw to Addison. And he's giving them both, slap on the back after the play's over. Like, I don't know. I just think leadership is bred in this roster and in this culture. And that starts with O'Connell on down. So I don't know. Yeah. I think he's doing he's doing as good of a job as he can, given the just circumstances of this season.
Yeah,
we'll see. Still a lot of games left. He needs to stick to everything he did great. You got to stick to your guns as we go forward. But for now, I don't know. You got to like what you're seeing. At this point, like with where we're at this season, you got to like what we saw in this last game.
Especially if he continues with this type of offense. Like if he was able to figure it out, suck it up or swallow his pride, I guess. If that's what it even is, a lot of people all of a sudden want to call him arrogant and things like that, but swallow his pride and decide to make things more simple and all of that and continues to do that. It does show Kevin O'Connell, even as a head coach, is willing to, change things up. Maybe it's a little late, fair enough, but change things up and build things around his quarterback. So hopefully we do see him continue to do that. As far as Justin Jefferson, I agree. It was really nice to see him happy just to get the win. That's the kind of person Justin Jefferson is. And that's why it's always crazy to me with all the people just always talking about, I mean, we can all say like we would get why Justin Jefferson would be frustrated and want to leave this team, but that isn't really the person that Justin Jefferson has shown. I don't believe he is even that guy. Maybe there's a tipping point for him. And even though he is happy in these games and just wants to win, that's fair. But I'll speak up for him myself and say, we do have to give him the damn ball. We need to get him at least his 1,000 yards this year. And I'll speak up for him because I don't know if he is. He might be just a team player type of guy, and that is fair. But I know we were really trying towards the end of the game, and I know we're going to really respect that. I really think we're really, really going to try since he needs, 41 per game to finish the season to break that 1,000 yards, and I know we're going to want to do that. But just do whatever you can to get the ball in his hands. Again, it's another game. Yes, I get it. You're just doing whatever you can to get JJ McCarthy comfortable, but I don't think I think he touched the ball like one time in the first quarter or something like that, or like one time in the first half. So definitely let Justin Jefferson touch the ball more. So that was kind of my only gripe on offense. And I also wanted to hit up on this that Delton said here. I wouldn't say Washington is bad. Like I would say they're not a bad team overall, really. I mean, they're not a good record.
It's a bad season.
Well, the defense is bad. Bad season, but the defense is bad.
Yeah,
the defense is bad. The offense is very fair, and we're gonna get in the defense in a second here because I do want to. Like the defense has been the last 2 weeks, the last month, the defense has played at a fucking elite level, at the level that we all expected our defense to be this year. And they're showing it now, which is, even though we don't really have a chance for playoffs, but we'll get into that in a second here. I wanted to jump back into, so we kind of went over Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy. This kind of just throws everything in. We can continue talking about JJ McCarthy because obviously his progression is really important to me and maybe not everybody else. And I'm sorry, I'm calling out a lot of fans. I know not everybody here, and actually most of you guys in here aren't really like that, but there's definitely some people that hop in here and just fans in general, for whatever reason, don't want to see JJ McCarthy progress, or I don't know what it is. I don't know if you just like to be miserable or if you just like to like be on the bad side of a football team. I don't really know, but you should always want your quarterback that you pick top 10 to see improvement or progression, because if they don't, your team's going to be hurt for a long time. Last week, we were just talking about, there's people in here talking about, and I'm sure people still hold that opinion, to blow everything up, that it's time to start over and fresh or whatever, that I completely disagreed with. Why would you want that? If you give me one option, hope for your quarterback to progress and see improvement and have a shot at trying to be competitive the next 2 years, or want him to just continue to look like shit and blow shit up. Why would you automatically go towards to B? It don't make any sense to me, which brings me to, why would you worried about draft position? If JJ McCarthy is coming out here showing progress and improvement and we're winning games, even if it brings down our draft position, that should be a way bigger positive. The fact that you have a quarterback that if JJ McCarthy finishes this season with you feeling confident that he can be your quarterback going into next year, and you can believe the progression that he'll get in the offseason will make him even better, that should be far more important to this team, in my opinion, than getting like the 6th pick in the draft. Not even, I mean, you'd be lucky, the 8th pick in the draft. Because two things. One, obviously, as far as winning goes, your quarterback is the most important position on your team. There's nobody in next year's draft that's going to do anything that's going to push you over the edge to be competitive other than your quarterback, as JJ McCarthy. The other thing is JJ McCarthy fails and he just totally sucks, and we all agree that he sucks. Your team's fucked anyways, and there's not going to be anybody. even if you got the 4th overall pick, now you're just putting him on a team that doesn't have a quarterback. He ain't going to do anything. There's not one position player in that. I don't care if it's Love. I don't care if it's Caleb Downs. I don't care if it's anybody. There's not one player in that draft that could come over here and help a team that doesn't have a quarterback win. So I don't really understand the whole idea of worrying about draft position over, or like literally being upset that JJ McCarthy showed improvement. We won the game, and you're like, oh, there goes our draft position. Sorry, that was a long one. But Casey, what is your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you, because look, at the end of the day, like, you want to talk about kind of pressure, like, I guess almost like the pressure circle here, right? Like, look, Kwesi, Kevin O'Connell decide we're going to go with JJ McCarthy. You draft him. Now it's like, okay, Kevin, you wanted this guy. The pressure's on you. Make him the quarterback of the future. We saw how the season went so far. Now it's almost like then the pressure gets put back on McCarthy. Like, hey, if you don't want this team to have any question about quarterback going into next year, you got to start playing well. And now that's on O'Connell. Like, how do I put him in a better spot? And now, if the rest of this, if this happens the rest of the year, McCarthy keeps showing improvement, it's like now it goes to Kwesi. It's like, hey, Kwesi, guess what? If he's still here to draft, we have our quarterback. Now, wherever we end up picking, it's your turn to hit, because we have our quarterback. We have talent on this roster. Now we need depth. Now we might need a young starter at a certain spot on defense. So now we got the quarterback here. He's up to speed. We think he can do something. Now it's wherever we end up picking, it's up to you to hit that draft pick. So it's just it's almost like it's good pressure for everybody, right? It's just and it's been all season long. So like the best case scenario, like you said, like McCarthy ends up working out. We win a few more games. Sure, you end up picking 13, 14, 15, whatever. That's where it gets up to, like, okay, front office, coaching staff, general manager, whoever's going to end up making those draft picks. Now it's your turn to do your job and find the right people wherever we end up picking, and find someone that can help contribute to this roster, whether as a starter or as a depth piece. So look, at the end of the day, it's all about winning. That's what the NFL is all about. You want to make sure you have the right coaching staff, quarterback, playmakers in place. And the only way you're going to know if you have the right team around the quarterback is if the quarterback ends up playing well. So at the end of the day, the rest of the season, as we said, like, if we went out and go 9-8, perfect. Because guess what? We're going into next year thinking like, hey, our quarterback figured it out and he's making the right steps. Now we need to supplement this roster with young players. And that's where it comes to the draft picks. And at the end of the day, you draft where you draft. There's value at every spot. And it'll be then at that point, it's going to be up to Kwesi to make the right decisions in the draft. So, yeah, I don't know. Long-winded way of saying win as many games as possible, get McCarthy confident, roll into the offseason thinking like, hey, this is our guy.
Yeah, and on top of that, now you feel confident and you're competitive, and now your 15th pick could potentially be someone that can contribute to your team being more competitive in success outside if you don't have a quarterback, and now you're just picking a guy to be on a team that doesn't have an answer at quarterback, probably isn't going to be very competitive or whatever. And, there's not going to be a player for you anyways if you were to pick higher.
Right.
Though that's the one thing is I understand why there's a little bit here. I'll throw it back to you in a second. I do understand, like, for Viking fans who are paying attention to mock drafts and stuff right now, and myself included, a little less after last game. But obviously there's some players dropping to the Vikings that are pretty intriguing. So I can see some of the fans seeing that and being like, ooh, like what if? And that's obviously Jeremiah Love and even more recent Caleb Downs, which I'd be very surprised if I don't think Downs, I would be surprised if Downs at this point, who knows what happens in the offseason, but at this point, I'd be surprised if he doesn't go top 5. He was at one point, some people picked him as a number 1 overall pick at some points during this season.
Right. But it also does, like Delton says here, and even on a mock draft I read earlier that had us taken down as a pick number 12 or 11, they said the same thing. They're like, how high is a team going to want to draft a safety? And who knows, maybe what Kyle Hamilton and even a Brian Branch have done, maybe that changes the way people think. If you think he's got some flexibility to play him in different spots, he's just a defensive weapon type guy, maybe that changes where he gets drafted. But that is something to think about. Like, some people are probably going to say, like, do I want a top 10 pick safety? Because Kyle Hamilton, he was a generational player. He was sitting there for us at pick number 12 when we didn't take him. So it's like, you kind of got to weigh the checks and balances of that as well.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. But you don't know. But that's the reason why I'm like, if we're sitting at 10 and Love and Downs were there, or if we were left this draft with either of them, I get the intrigue by that. That would be fucking sick. But that would be not nearly as sick as JJ McCarthy becoming the franchise quarterback that we all wanted. That would be
and that's
100 times better than us drafting Jeremiah Love or Caleb Downs. Welcome in, Norris, by the way.
Well, and that's what's going on, Norris. And that's another thing too. It's like if McCarthy doesn't work out, then you're either using those draft picks or the money that, as of right now, the cap's looking kind of tight. You're either using more draft picks or money to either trade for or sign a quarterback. And then the draft picks don't matter as much. So I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, the people that I think the people want to, I mean, it's almost like the people want to see McCarthy fail, because if he fails, that means Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell failed and they both get fired and we start over, because that's what some people want, which I think is ridiculous. Like, I would rather just say, like, hey, we have our young quarterback. Now let's build around him, and hopefully he can just keep developing and become the guy here for the next 10 years. So you don't need to worry about the quarterback spot, and then you worry about literally everything else. One thing I did want to talk about with McCarthy, though, like we talked about O'Connell and the growth and whatnot. And again, one game, I understand that small sample size, got to see it continue. But something that I really did like to see from JJ McCarthy this last game, and it's almost like I think, you know, these guys come into the league, he gets named starter after being injured last year. It's almost like I think he tried too hard to like show that he was this a leader, like his show is like almost change his leadership style. And like with like the obviously the meme from the when he's pumped up in the locker room before getting the game ball and the 9 stuff and all that type of stuff. Like I think he learned a little bit, like, hey, I just got to be myself. I don't need to do all this other stuff to try to show that I'm a leader. I think Purple for the win. So he doesn't need to try to be a linebacker. Like, he's trying to just be all tough and pumped up. Like yesterday, he gets the game ball from O'Connell, just gives him the handshake, the little half hug, takes it, goes back with the group of guys. Like, I think that's it. I think he's kind of learned just to be a little bit more natural, right? Like, just obviously, if a play goes good, you got to celebrate a little bit. But I think he learned a lot from a lot of like the press conferences and like the post game stuff. Just, you know, just keep a level head. I think people know the type of leader, type person he is right now. So I like to see that growth from him too. Like, he just kind of brought the intensity down a notch, and he's just kind of being himself and just kind of blending in. And I think people are going to appreciate that type of leadership style a lot more than some guy trying to be something he's not, at least at this point early on in his career. I did like to see that. I did like to see that from him.
I actually
that he's learning just how to be like just more of a normal leader in the locker room.
I disagree with you on that a bit. And I've disagreed on you on this stuff. Pretty much most people I disagree with on this a little bit. I do think for himself, I'm glad he's doing that, because there's no need for extra noise and extra memes. But I think he was being himself. I don't think he was being someone who he wasn't. By who the fuck goes out there and tries to do that shit on purpose? I don't think that's the case. I think JJ McCarthy was what you saw from JJ McCarthy earlier. I think that was him being himself. He was just being himself. Like, I don't know anybody who tries to not be's like that to try to not be themselves. So I do think he was being himself. So I think he is holding it in now to try on purpose, specifically because he doesn't want to become another meme, because all the extra noise. And I like that for himself right now, because, you know, obviously we've seen what happened to him, but I don't think that is him being himself. I think before it was him being genuine, whether people thought it was cringy or not. I do think it was, personally, I think it was being genuine. And for me, I'd rather see someone be themselves and be genuine at the end of the day. But at the same time, as a Viking fan and a JJ McCarthy fan, I don't want him to get memed as hard as he's too nice of a kid. I just don't want to see that for him.
But also, I like he said it himself though, that he gets himself too amped up sometimes.
Well,
so
I think that's him being himself.
Like I know, but like having a level of control to your emotions is big no matter what situation you're in. And I think that's something he's learning. It's like, I mean, yes, here's who I am, but also I can take who I am and tone it down a little bit. Just not to, because again, I think until you learn how to deal with that level of emotion that you get on and off the field, because especially now that he's being asked to do more in the NFL. So like, again, I didn't have an issue when he did all that stuff. Like, it's cool. I thought it was cool. He was being pumped up, but I do like to see that. And I do think it's part of it. Like, you know, I'm done being the meme. I'm just going to be this. I'm just going to be myself, be this guy, be the quarterback of this team, and kind of, but again, I think it's good for him just to subdue the emotions a little bit, so he's not always so amped up.
Yeah, and actually, to your point, because you do make a really good point there, because I do think he subdued, like just like Norris said, like I do think he subdued it. He was just being himself, whatever. But something I've actually heard him say himself, which is a really good point to what you said, is there's this thing of like you don't ever really want to be too high. You don't want to like be living on this roller coaster of two highs and two lows all the time. You do want to like find that even middle of like, especially like it's different. You win the Super Bowl, let it all loose type of thing.
Oh,
but
for sure.
generally day to day, like you don't want to give all your energy to sell every, all your little wins or whatever, as well as like you lose a game that doesn't really matter and you're just on yourself about it. So I do think that's a really good point as far as like being kind of even tempered, at least some of the time, so you're not living in this. And I've literally heard JJ McCarthy kind of talk about that before, actually. So I do think that's a really good point. I do think he was being himself before, and I do think he is subdued a bit, but I do think that is a good point that it is probably a healthy thing for him to kind of just roll in the middle and not get too down on himself when they lose and not get too high on himself when they win. So I think that's a really good point. So that's good.
Yeah. But again, but you do appreciate the genuineness. And like I said, even before this season, I said he's gonna say things that people are gonna find cringe or a little bit odd. But like again, if that's that is just kind of. I'm not even in control of my emotions at 31.
I've never even came close to thinking the kind of stuff JJ McCarthy was thinks in his brain at his age.
No, but either way, it was just nice to see him just win the game in the locker room, just kind of be like, you know what, I'm done being the meme. I'm just gonna blend in for now until I earn my spot to be able to, act a little bit differently. But I don't know. Either way, but just, and again, I think it's also good for him. And I think that part of that, I think a big part of that too is coming off of that game, realize like, hey, good game, but it is just one game. We're still 5-8. Like, how pumped up should I be right now? I just got to show. I don't know. I think that's growth from a leadership perspective. Just like, hey, good game, guys, but it ain't it. We still got 4 more of these left. So let's not, back
even for himself. Yeah, it is kind of evening in his temper a little bit there. Especially, I'm sure he had moments. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, obviously, I don't know what happened in that Bears and the Packers game. I don't know if it was a combination of him being down and worried and losing confidence because of all this noise that was going out, or if it was Kevin O'Connell bringing making things too complex, while also worrying so much about his fundamentals and stuff that it just got him way overthinking. I don't know what it is, but it felt like that there's a good chance that JJ McCarthy was definitely at a down point. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we're talking about these emotions, ups and downs, if that might have hit even a low for him, which is going to be really bad going to the next game. So you're just probably better off, like you kind of mentioned, staying even tempered. So every game you're going into, you're not either extremely amped or also extremely down and kind of losing confidence there. Yeah. So exactly. I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we're going into some kind of deep shit all of a sudden, but something's with JJ McCarthy. But I do agree that JJ McCarthy is probably good for him to kind of just be even tempered after this one, and mostly good for him from a social media standpoint, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
If he would have came back, hold on one second. If he would have came back out and he just like 9's back, baby, or something like that,
that would have been funny.
Dude. Yeah, I'm hoping what he needs to do is after he wins his first Super Bowl, after JJ McCarthy, Jonathan James McCarthy wins his first Super Bowl as a Minnesota Viking, then he just lets 9 loose, tells everybody he's 9, all that stuff. That would be great if that happens. When it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. But either way, great. But at the end of the day, great game for him. But as we said, like one game, when one game finally where it seems like him and O'Connell are on the same page about what the best situations are going to be for him on that offense to succeed. And again, we're excited about this one, but again, it's not like we're saying, oh, savior of the franchise is back, 9 is back. It's a good game, good called game, good quarterback execution. Now, can you continue to stack that against these better teams coming up here? I mean, the Giants or whatever, but still, like, they're excited about what they got in Jackson Dart over there. But so you got better teams coming up, 2 on the road and then 2 at home. So can we continue to stack this? But something that will, again, one game, a well-called game from O'Connell, the best game of McCarthy, just one game. The side of the ball that has been playing well for the last month at least, and is going to put this offense in positions to be in football games as long as they're consistent enough. This defense has been, and look, I have said a lot about Flores in my time, but I don't know what sauce he found this last month or so, but this defense has been on fire for the last month. And I know the scores aren't going to look good. I mean, we got shut out against Seahawks, allowed 26 points. The Bears, we allowed 20-some points as well. But that was all games where the offense wasn't carrying their weight. But this is what can happen when the offense is, and again, we're not going to get 98-yard, 12-minute drives all the time. But still, like if the offense is able to possess the ball and move the ball down the field and be efficient, the defense is going to be well rested. And this, I don't know, this Flores defense, as for the last month at the very least, something pretty special to it.
Yeah, dude. And there's a lot to say there, because even all the way looking back, obviously at this point, because you're not making the playoffs, so any free agent moves didn't really work well for us. Obviously, Eric Wilson's insane. That's right at the end. But like as far as even Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, it doesn't look so bad anymore. Like the defensive line is looking good. They're creating pressure. They're creating all these things. But the big ones in this last two games to me is you got the Vikings last week. Yeah, you let the Seahawks score 26 points. But our offense obviously wasn't moving the ball at all. We had 4 interceptions. Of course, like the fact that they only scored 26 points and you hold Sam Darnold to 128 yards, 14 completions on 26 attempts, sacked 4 times, and on top of that, JSN has 23 yards. I have to go look, but probably by far the lowest he's had all season. I think he's leading the NFL in receiving yards, and you hold him to 23 as the only team. And then this same team goes against the Falcons defense and goes off for like 40 points. JSN has like 2 touchdowns and 150 yards, and Sam Darnold started off bad, but ends up with like 3 touchdowns. And then obviously, and so that's a statement. You're one of the hottest offenses in football. You basically stopped. That's a game you should have won if our offense didn't have 4 interceptions. And then on top of that, you can just see how good this team can be when you're winning the turnover battle. Like if you're winning the turnover battle really matters. And in this one, it was really nice to see. Obviously, Van Ginkel, which was our call. Well, I mean, that's an easy call every single week to win the turnover battle and have a Gink 6. It was so close for Andrew Van Ginkel to get a pick 6 there, as well as Harrison Smith. And I don't remember, was it Hargrave who stripped the ball from Mariota, or did he just drop it but landed right in his hands, which was really nice to see because we've not got a good bounce to save our life this year.
I don't remember if he was the one that punched it out or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember.
But just good, great game. And then Eric Wilson and Jalen Redmond both stepping up, continuing to look. I mean, them two have just been the best overall players of that defense all year. But in this game, you're against this is where I wanted to come back here, because we're saying Washington's a bad team. They're not offensively that bad of a team. They went up against arguably the best defense last week and put up 24 points and almost won that against the Broncos just a week ago with Mariota. And this was Jaden Daniels and Mariota with McLaurin back, and they get 0 points. So 24 against the best defense in the NFL, arguably last week, and then 0 against our defense this week. So it's a hell of a 2-game stretch from this defense. Unfortunately, it doesn't fucking really matter, which does suck, because now you're just like, damn it. That's why I was just never out on this team being good. Like, the record wasn't great. We weren't playing the best football, but I felt like the personnel was here to be a good football team in general. It just wasn't. It's just a fucked up year or whatever. And we'll see what happens. Maybe we end up having a hot stretch at the end here overall, but which would, be a little bit annoying by Norris. But at the same time, it would jack you up a little bit for going into next season, especially if JJ McCarthy continues to play good. Too evil with the $4.99. Appreciate you, bro. Oh yeah, as long as McCarthy has the Pop Warner play calling package, he can handle it. Hope the team that can figure this out never comes along. Hope a team that can figure this out never comes along. Hey, that's crazy, because McCarthy is the youngest starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, what do you want from the kid? He's literally the youngest quarterback. And what is it? Like, he's the youngest Vikings quarterback to have 3 touchdowns since Tommy Kramer in a game or something. Oh, Gators. Yeah.
We got the $4.99 from Jackson. I'd rather jump in a pool full of Gators than be a Packers fan. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm going.
100%
I'm diving
100%
in.
agree.
I'm jumping in chicken broth, jumping in that thing before I'm a Packer fan. What up in the zone? What up, Zoe? Welcome in, my dude. Man. FT Maddie, by the way, I see you. Hargrave punched it out and then recovered the fumble. Okay, yeah. So I don't know, like, where is that? Wrong. Jackson Dart is Dart. No, I did think that he might be younger. Is he younger? People have been saying, or no one. I never seen anyone say that, but I kind of looked at it. So maybe Jackson. All right, one younger than Jackson Dart. Okay.
Oh darn! Sorry,
sorry, Jackson Dart. Even though he's looking pretty good, even though JJ McCarthy is about to fuck him up in 2 weeks, but whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the only thing Jackson Dart is better at than McCarthy is getting concussions.
Right, and was
that in bad taste?
No, even though, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's in bad taste, but I don't know if it's totally true yet. Technically, they're both coming off concussions. That's a good point, yeah. But no, we'll see what happens in the Giants game. But Jackson Dart, he's all right. But all right, and even if that's true, I think if they're pretty close to age, if not. So Jackson Dart, okay, give him a clap there. Give one to Jackson Dart. But still, Jackson Dart. I mean, he beat the Eagles. I think he was the one in there, right, to beat the Eagles. JJ McCarthy beat the Lions.
Yeah,
beat the Bears. I don't think Jackson Dart has beat anybody else other than that game, anyways. So whatever. But yeah, I would just say overall, though, too evil. Come on, man. JJ McCarthy, 70% completion, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's called progress. Are you guys still really riding McCarthy's legit quarterback? A bust to be. Yes. I never was on he was going to be a bust. I never was on he was going to be a bust. Right. Yeah. But I'm a one. Hey, thanks for popping in, dude. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for popping in, man.
I'm not on that train of McCarthy's automatically. I'm not riding the train that McCarthy's a legit quarterback either. I need to see more than one game. So to be actually real, I need to see more than one game to see if McCarthy is a legit quarterback. Unlike you two evil, that all you needed to see one bad game to know that JJ McCarthy isn't. You know what I'm saying? If you were even,
and this is 100%.
Yeah, you go.
And this is 100% true. Like, I think getting McCarthy more comfortable with game speed with pop word and play calling is fine. Exactly. That's it. He starts off with this type of offense, and then as he develops, starts seeing the field better, then you give him more responsibility. It's like starting any job. You start with the baseline stuff, and the more you know, the more they keep putting on your plate until you're where they want you to be. And I think that's exactly and that's the thing. And that's where O'Connell was kind of getting in his own way early on in the season, because he was running the offense like he had a veteran quarterback in there instead of doing it like he's doing it now, where it's like, hey, get him comfortable, get him up to speed, and then eventually you just keep putting more on his plate as these weeks go by, as he keeps hitting those milestones. So I think this is 100% a solid point right here. Like, this is all about just getting him comfortable and confident again. Everything else just keeps adding on as he's ready for it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with doing that whatsoever. That's literally called developing a quarterback. Then by the time McCarthy is ready, college level play calling again, he will to retire. Hey, that means he had a long career, right? That's what you're kind of saying. But yeah, overall though, like when it comes back to the McCarthy stuff, or because we talked about the defense playing really good.
Sure.
Sticking with the run also. Yeah. That helps a lot.
Huge. And again, and that's where I was talking about with like, will O'Connell like continue to do this against better competition, or will he like slip back into his old ways of, I got to try to score points more quickly, so we're just chucking the ball all over the place. We'll see. And again, that's why it's so important to remember this is one game against a struggling Commanders team.
Yeah. So we do need to see more, even from McCarthy. But from McCarthy, I mean, I don't care if it's a bad defense. I don't care what kind of play calling it is. He still had a 70% completion percentage. He still played like a quarter. Like, I don't know, what was Christian Ponder's best game? Like, he probably had a couple decent ones.
I think someone said in his 5th game he had like 380 passing yards and 3 touchdowns or something like that.
So he did have one.
I think his rookie year he had a game like that.
Yeah, which I'm not surprised they probably have some, but I mean, you have to see that and just be like, there's a chance this kid, and not to mention now when you look, when when it was a bottom 5 defense. Let's relax.
And we've said that multiple times tonight. Like,
yeah, we just said that it's one game against a bad defense.
If you would join us from the top of our show instead of near the end, you would hear me say this stuff.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Even though we just appreciate you being in here, no matter what.
I'm tossing the troll right back at you.
Yeah,
It's okay.
But no, that's what bottom 5 defense. It don't matter. He came out here and played well. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. There's no reason. A player that is automatically a bust at 22 years old doesn't have a game like that against an NFL defense, even if it's the worst of all time. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. 23 out of he's healthy right now.
Yeah,
he's healthy right now.
Which I guess can kind of bring us into the last point here, just kind of the rest of the outlook on the rest of the season.
Right.
I mean, you were kind of getting into it there, like how we've already talked about. People want to just like get a better draft pick. Like, I've never been about that. Like, I've always thought that's stupid. Like, great, you pick 5 spots higher. Like
cool. Maybe if you needed a quarterback or something.
Exactly. Like, at this point, you draft where you draft. You can find talent at every pick in every round. And it just, again, that comes down to front office and doing their jobs well. But again, the rest of the season is the same for, I believe I speak for both of us. It's the same as it's always been. We need to see progression from JJ McCarthy. And again, yes, one game against a struggling Commanders team from a play calling and quarterback play perspective. I get that, but you have to start somewhere. And now it's up to O'Connell to stick to his guns with this and keep putting McCarthy in good spots. And it's up to McCarthy to keep confidently playing the way that he has and making the right reads and hitting the throws and not thinking too much, just playing football. And that's what the rest of the season to me is about. If you just keep seeing him play well and keep doing the little things right, I'm going to be happy going into the offseason. And does that mean they're not going to bring in competition for him? Absolutely not. I'm sure they will, and they probably should. But at the end of the day, like the rest of the season, I don't want to lose. I'd like to see him win some games and get that confidence going into next year. And the only way that's going to happen is seeing consistency week in and week out. And guess what? You have a prime time Sunday night game against the Dallas Cowboys next week, and then 2 divisional home games to end the year against the Lions and the Packers. And they're both going to be playing for something at that point. So you're going to get their best. So you got to give them their best. You can't let those teams come into US Bank Stadium and kick your ass. So again, if you want to just test like the mental fortitude of this team and Kevin O'Connell's leadership and keeping players engaged, there's big games to prove that this team still wants to win games and big time moments too. And one of them, it's seriously, and all those ones you're talking about, Sunday Night Football, Christmas, a nationally televised Christmas game. And we still don't know what's going on with the Packer game. Like if the Packers have a chance for the 1 seed, that could be a primetime game too. So like there's going to be big, high leverage moments for this team, coaching staff and quarterback to continue to show the growth and continue to show they're willing to fight, put up the fight and try to win football games in tough situations. So look, this one game against the Commanders, guess what? This is the easiest game the rest of the year. Now they're all going to be at different levels of tough. And I'm excited to see if they can keep this going or if this was just a blip in the radar and they end up falling back into where they've been the rest of the year. And that's the exciting part. Had we played like shit, we'd be sitting here thinking, oh, great, 4 more games of this. Well, now it's like, hey, 4 more games. We saw progress. Where do we go from here? There's intrigue again. And there's excitement that maybe things are going in the right direction. And it's excitement against some good competition in high leverage spots. So I'm excited, man. And a win like this, a dominant win like this against a shit team at home, sure, it still brings that same level of excitement.
I mean, you won 31-0.
So, I don't know.
Not many teams. I don't care. Not many teams do that.
There's plenty of opportunities to show that what happened this last week wasn't just a fluke, and they can keep doing it. And we'll see if they can.
And we should be rooting for that. And by the way, Too Evil, weren't you a Hartman guy? Didn't you like Hartman? Didn't you say Hartman over McCarthy?
I saw Hartman. I think Hartman was on the sidelines yesterday.
Yeah, he was on the sideline. His team couldn't score a single point, and he's the 4th quarterback or whatever over there. But that's the thing. If he gets injured again this season, that's the whole thing. Is like overall, you should be hoping. You should be like hoping that JJ McCarthy doesn't get injured. That you should be hoping that he can develop and be that guy moving forward. And you should be wanting him to be that, because the worst thing we want to do is have to move on. Like, why would you choose? Like, why would you want to move on when you have an option to hope that your quarterback you pick top 10 can be the guy? I don't really get that. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So, I'm pissed now that there's a chance we waste the rest of Jed's career training for McCarthy. Who else do you want to? Who are you going to go bring in here that's going to be automatically better than JJ McCarthy? Or like, who are you going to bring in here that's just going to take us to the next level? you know?
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Like there's a lot, there's just a lot of opportunities for this team to prove themselves going out the rest of the year. And look, and that's why I think is a big part of it. Like you can't just quit, because if you do, you're going to be embarrassed on national television and in your division. Like those division games mean something, even when you're out of that playoff race. Like you might have a chance week 18 to knock the Packers out of the 1 seed. How exciting would that be? Like they're going into it thinking, hey, we go to Minnesota, beat the how many win Vikings team that has a young quarterback who's struggled this year. We could just go in there, kick their asses, and get the 1 seed. Like then you're gonna have a chance to be like, no, you're not coming on our turf and doing that. We're gonna put up a fight. So I don't know. Plenty of opportunities for this team to prove themselves this year.
Yeah. As far as like obviously, and that all comes down to like right now we're not making playoffs. So that does suck. Like even against the Packers or whatever, and we win, it'll be bittersweet. It'd be like, that sucks. I wasn't to make playoffs. But the only thing that can save this season is the season, as far as like from a confidence and like feeling it like it wasn't a waste of a season, is literally just the progression of JJ McCarthy. Like we can win the rest of the games. JJ McCarthy looks good and we feel confident about him going into next season. To me, at that point, if that does happen, I'm like, this season was a success overall, 100%. Because that's the number one goal. And at least what we've talked about with this season is hopefully see that progression of JJ McCarthy. Yet to be seen. We got to still see a lot left before that happens. But that's what I'm hoping to see that happens. Obviously, it'd be great for that to happen. So we'll see what happens here. But we need the Bears to lose out. The Lions lose 3 games. Bucs lose out. We win out. Oh, so I know I haven't even looked in. So what is it? Okay. We need the Bears to lose out, Lions to lose 3 games, the Bucs to lose out, and we win. And so you're saying we've got a chance. You're saying we got a better chance than the Chiefs, at least, probably. I don't even know if that's true. The Chiefs, that's crazy.
Less than 1% chance, but hey, it's still a chance.
Hey, there's still a chance. So Bears lose out. That's definitely a possibility. Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. I know. There's a couple. I mean, there's a couple games I wish we could have got back. The Ravens and the Bears. We win those 2 games. We have a chance. Let's go. Let's go. Chiefs have a better chance. Yeah, I'm sure they do. But they're probably out too, which is crazy. Crazy. But yeah, man. I mean, I guess, yeah, outlook going forward. I mean, team, hopefully we see the progression of JJ McCarthy. Anything else?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said, I've said it like 8 times now, but there's just good opportunity to do so. High leverage, national televised opportunities to go prove that this one game wasn't a fluke. And I don't know. It's exciting stuff, man. But yeah, really nothing else from me. I guess so Thursday, are we doing our own?
Yeah.
Are we doing our own stream before wraps, or are we just doing his instead?
Everybody, by the way, at the end of the stream, we might be a little off right now. Lagging behind each other a little bit. But just to answer Casey's question, we are going live on Thursday to do a pregame. It's going to be probably like 30 minutes. I don't know the exact time. I have to hit up Rap, but we are going on Rap, aka Vocal Vikes channel this Thursday to talk some more Vikings football. And this should be interesting. At least it's not going to be completely depressing as it would have been if we would have done it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we'll see what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hopping in. We always appreciate you. No matter what side of the aisle you're on with this team, we still enjoy having you guys in here talking some Vikings football. Make sure to look out for us on Thursday. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Let's go Vikes.